Hello, the internet. Welcome to the bottom half of the North Division. Now, if you're noticing a slight increase in quality of the video, all I have to say is, new phone, who this? Anyhow, we have the bottom half of the North Division, these 8 games we played, and now we get to examine the results and who is going to be moving on. And in a couple cases, it is not yet known. So we start off with our 3 versus 14 matchup. Ticket to Ride India versus Nightmare Chess. This was the biggest blowout in our history of our tournament. Ticket to Ride India scored an 18. It's personally my favorite ticket to ride. Nightmare Chess didn't do so well. The problem with Nightmare Chess is it takes an hour to set up. So you're drafting cards that you can use instead of making your normal move in a chess game. And it takes a very long time. And then we played a 6-round game, which took 5 minutes after spending 30, 40 minutes trying to pick out our cards. In the last 2 times we've played Nightmare Chess, my kid has not used a card a single time, which makes the game kind of useless and pointless. You're just better off playing regular chess. But he does still like it for some strange reason. So it is still in our library, but only scored a 12.5. And so it will be relegated to the play-ins next year. So Ticket to Ride India moved on to the second round. Now, for the 6 versus 11. The 6th seed, Lord of the Rings, the Cryptozoic version. This is a deck builder game. The one drawback to this is that it's kind of easy if you're playing co-op. But it is one of the very few deck builders that has a co-op version, so it stays in our library. But out of all the Cryptozoic games we have, which is 4, it's the one I like the least. It goes up against the classic Dominion. I'm showing here we finally got an expansion, so we did actually play it with this expansion. That did actually seem to help the game a little bit. Made it a little bit better and less random. And so it did a little bit better than it did the last time we played it. Lord of the Rings only scored a 15.5. So for it to move on to the second round, it would not only have to beat Dominion, but it would have to roll a 6 on the die. If it does not make it to the second round. Dominion will need to roll a 4 or better to make it to the next round. Otherwise, it could very easily win. Lord of the Rings needs to roll it by 3. So if it does so, it will win. But if it does so with not a 6, then it wins, but it doesn't move on. And Burger Joint, which is our number 1 player from the play-ins, would take its place. And Dominion needs a 4 or better to move on. So let's find out who wins this matchup. 15.5 versus 16.5 right now. Tiebreaker goes to Dominion because it has a higher score. So if Lord of the Rings outrolls Dominion by only 2, Dominion wins. So let's see. Green is Lord of the Rings. White is Dominion. And moving on to the next round of our tournament is neither one. Dominion wins with a 17.5. However, it didn't score the necessary 18.5 to be able to move on to the next round. So Burger Joint, our winner of our play-ins, is officially in the tournament in the second round. And we'll be taking on, well, okay, so I don't know who it'll be taking on yet because that will be decided at the end. It might not necessarily, but at some point we'll figure out which of the play-ins actually takes the spot. It will be based on seeding. Since this is the 6-10 seed, it will possibly be one of the best that gets knocked out. Those 6 and 7s, remember I mentioned previously in previous videos, the 6 and 7s are the ones that are most in danger. We just saw that. 6 seed is out. And so Burger Joint is in. And it will take over whichever seed gets knocked out that is the best seed. All right, moving on. All right, moving on over here. This is our 7 versus 10 Legend of Drizzt, which is a dungeon crawler. Wizard always wins is a role choosing, resource management kind of game where the wizard will always win. You can only win by taking the wizard role and pulling one of your gems from the bag. And so you have to get gems into the bag. The number of tiles you get to draw from the bag is equal to your levels. So you want to gain levels and put gems in the bag. And then you have to pick the wizard role in order to win. But if you pick the wizard role and you don't win, you are a fake wizard. Which means not only do you not only do you not get to do anything that round because you don't get to advance, but you get to pick your role last the next round, which means someone else probably picked the wizard. All right, now, Legend of Drizzt scored a 15.5, which is lower than it had been. This is one game we've played enough times that my kid's starting to get bored of it. Still likes it some, but not as much as he used to. Wizard always wins. My kid complained that it was too much luck, which I disagree because out of 4 games we played, 4-player, I won 2 of the 4, and one of those I won with a disadvantage. So there is a lot of strategy involved in this game, but he more goofed off with his brother. So he did win one of the games, but he rated it a little bit lower. So this was a blowout, which is why you see 1 die, but not 2. 15.5 for Legend of the Drizzt. Wizard always wins, only scored a 13. So no matter what the wizard would roll, it cannot win the round. Legend of Drizzt wins the round, but in order to make it to the second round and not just be a Pyrrhic victory, it needs to roll a 6. So, and if it does not, then Earth will officially be in the tournament. So who will move on? Legend of Drizzt or Earth? Well, let's find out. And it is Earth. I forgot to write stuff down. All right, so 2 get our 6 seed and our 7 seed both knocked out. So that means Burger Joint and Earth will be in the second round. I'm glad to see Earth in the second round. Not that there was any chance of it not being. We'll see how many more make it and how many more don't as we keep going on. All right, so enough. If we have no other games score below an 18.5, it would be the 6 seed would go to Burger Joint and the 7 seed would go to Earth. But if we have like a 3 or 4 seed go down, then Burger Joint will take that seed instead. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. If not, go watch the playing round video. All right, so our final matchup, Agricola versus Labyrinth. This was a blowout. Agricola scored an 18, so it is safe. So anytime without the die roll, game scores an 18 or higher in the first round, the die roll won't matter because if it scores an 18.5, since the game's already in the tournament, win the tiebreaker, it's not at risk of not making the tournament or not continuing in the tournament, so no die is rolled. And since it was a blowout, I don't need to roll die because the die roll wouldn't determine the winner. Just like with Ticket to Ride India, since it was a blowout, I didn't roll the die. So 18-14 Labyrinth, decent game, but it will be relegated along with Wizard down to the play-ins next round. So that is, in this half of the division, 3 games that are going to be relegated to the play-ins next year. And 2, that 1, Legend of Drizzt and Dominion. Dominion pulled the upset, which I think is our biggest first-round upset yet we've had, well, in the last 2 years anyways. But it didn't score enough to make it to the main tournament. So it is out. If it had been the green die, it would have made it, but it wasn't. It was the white die, so it's out. So that is the bottom half of the North Division. Next, we'll be doing the top half of the West, which will kick off with our 1 seed number 2, which is my favorite Cryptozoic game, another deck builder. We like our deck builders. In case you haven't. And I realized that I've got all these games that were very similar, like this one. That was not intentional. It just happened that way. All right, so that's all Let me know in the comments if there was any surprises, any games you were sad to go, anywhere you're like, yay, it didn't make it. Are you as happy as I am that Earth is officially in now? Earth's a great game. It's going to give everyone a run for their money. But until the next video.